Thanks for tuning in to Electric Bike Journal. Today we're taking a look at the Cannondale Cargowagen Neo. This is a Bosch powered class 3 electric cargo bike with room for 2 kids and yet maxi seats in the back. There's a lot going on with the Cargowagen Neo. We were very eager to get this in on test, so stay tuned as we talk about the specs and find out how it rides. Coming in at $4,300 is a class 3 Bosch powered long tail cargo bike. It's got dual battery compatibility for those of you that want to maximize the range of your cargo bike. And it does have room on that rear rack there to hold up to 2 kids, yep, maxi seats. You know, the rear rack can hold up to 175 pounds too, so a full-size adult can hop on the back as well. Overall, it's a very clean and tight, minimal, modern design for a cargo bike. I really do like the blend of tubular frame shape as well as the shielded guards over things to make it really sleek and low profile. It's also one of the few bikes, if not the only bike I've seen that has a center console in it. That low frame step design you see down there also doubles for a kind of like a caddy spot, a place to put your water bottle, your cell phone, kind of really any small thing that you want down low for easy access. Additionally, the Cargowagen Neo comes with a dropper post, something else that we don't see too often on cargo bikes. I'm sure it's going to be happening more and more as we move forward, and it's definitely something you can do on your own. But it's always nice to see when they think of that for you and include that on the bike. Well shielded and discreetly hiding in plain sight is that class 3 Bosch Performance Speed drive unit. It's a 250 watt mid-drive with 85 Newton meters of torque. This does come with that LED remote located up on the handlebars and the kiosk display. Something that is cool about that relationship between the kiosk, the LED remote, as well as the app is that you can display turn-by-turn navigation on that display. So you really don't need to pull your phone out. You can keep that tucked into your bag. I'm sure you're handling kids or putting gear on there. Last thing you want to do is pull your phone out and clip it onto the bike before you get rolling, especially when it's hot out and kids are ready to get rolling to cool down. Additionally, within that app, you do have theft protection mode, as well as being able to customize the different pedal assist modes to kind of get the more personalized feel that you want out of them. The Cargowagen Neo does come with a single Bosch power pack, 545 watt-hour battery that does have an estimated range of about 25 to 50 miles. We'll talk more about range and what you should expect here shortly, but that's kind of what target window you'll be getting out of this depending on what pedal assist mode you're in. Now with all that speed of a class 3 electric bike, stopping power is something you're going to be wanting. The Cargowagen Neo here has really good smooth stopping power with Shimano hydraulic disc brakes and 180mm rotors front and rear, as well as 4-piston calipers. So really good, smooth, powerful stopping power and braking power that I'm not worried about at all when charging downhill and needing to come to a stop quickly. As a mid-drive and a quality bike, we do see a quality drivetrain on there. This is a Shimano Dior 10-speed Link Glide drivetrain. It's a very smooth shifting 10-speed drivetrain, all the gearing you need to really get up those steep hills and to be able to equally charge and have a good pedaling cadence to hold those higher top speeds on the flat straightaways. As mentioned, this does sit on 20-inch wheels, and it's one of the few electric bikes that we've tested that's on a mixed tire size. It's not uncommon to see a mixed wheel size, but definitely uncommon to see a mixed tire size. Both of the tires are Schwalbe pickup, E-rated cargo bike tires. Up front, we have a 2.35 inch, and in the rear is a 2.15 inch. Up front, we have an SR Suntour Mobi 34 80mm travel fork. It does have that through axle. This is a nice, solid, sturdy, cargo-rated fork, E-rated fork as well. And it's one of the only electric cargo bikes we have on test that does come with a quality suspension fork. Additionally, it does come with that comfort seat for more comfort back there. And like I said earlier, that suspension dropper post. So it's got not only able to change heights, but it does have that natural suspension built into it, which works very well. I haven't had to adjust or change anything, and I can definitely feel it while I'm riding. As with most urban electric bikes, we are seeing lights and fenders as kind of standard accessories coming on these bikes. On the Cargowagen Neo though, Cannondale did not skimp and give kind of cheaper, lower quality OE spec accessories on there. This is a quality design LED headlight, super bright, Kind of has like a halo running light, and I like that you can relocate it to the front of the basket. They have that whole setup. It holds it very nice and firm up front, so when you do have gear up here on this front tray, you don't have to worry about your light being blocked by whatever's up there. So it's nice that they have that accessory and kind of design all built into their overall list of accessories. It does have fenders, both front and rear. Up front, it's kind of more of standard, OE spec style front fender, nice and wide, but it does come with a really cool large mud flap on the back. Behind that front fender is an ABIS lock that is mounted to the fork. Those locks are stout, strong, tough. We really like them, and it just comes with the bike. It's not an extra thing that you have to get. In the back is where we see things start to take form a little bit and be a little bit more customized. It's a whole custom rear fender that goes over and wraps the entire rear tire, and it does have shields built into the sides as well. So when you're on the back, whether it's full-size person, kid, or just your gear, you don't have to worry about any debris flying up and out of there. And it just, again, comes with the bike. So it's cool to see the thoughtfulness and how much effort they put in to just kind of take care of all of the bells and whistles out of the gates, especially at that $4,300 price tag. It does come with the floorboards as well. They're not covered or shielded floorboards, but they do come with the bike. It's not an additional accessory you have to get. And in the back, a matching LED Design taillight. Well, let's talk about size and load capacity of the Cargowagen Neo. I think this is a great place to start talking about our thoughts of this bike and how it performs. Overall length is about 79 inches, and that's measuring from the front of the tire to the back of the rack there. So as far as all the bikes on test for our long-tail cargo bike roundup, it's definitely one of the longer, if not the longest, cargo bike on test. But it does not ride that way at all. This bike sits very low, and I think just the combination of the wheelbase, the head tube angle, just general frame design, does not ride like a long bike at all. More important than that overall length and the wheelbase length, not that that isn't important, but deck height. This is a very important thing for a cargo bike, especially if you have kids. That deck height, when it's not on the center stand, measures about 23.5 to 24 inches off the ground. And with the pad, it's gonna be a little bit taller, but that's very important. It's the lowest of all the bikes on test. And when you do have a kid's, maxi seat back there, especially if you do have that rail around there for them to hold on to, lifting a kiddo up that high to clear their feet when they're kicking and shoes are falling off, we all know that a low deck height is really helpful in making that happen, especially if you're not 6 feet tall like myself. The step over height is about 20 inches off the ground. It's nice and low and equally nice and wide, kind of thanks to that center console design that they have there to help, create a place for storage, but when it's empty, again, very low and open, wide zone to be able to step over comfortably. Rider height range is from 5'1" to 6'2". For our testing purposes, we did have riders at 5'4" and other riders at 6 foot, and kind of in the middle there. None of us felt any problems with the bike for fitment. We all felt very comfortable on it. No one mentioned it feeling too big, too long, too tall, too far of a reach, too short of a reach. It really adapted to that size window very well. I'm really impressed with that, and then being able to have that dropper post on there, switch from myself at 6 to someone else at 5'4", just really lowering the seat down, it was able to fit them, and I didn't have to change the height of the seat post itself. Overall load capacity of the Cargowagen Neo is about 440 pounds. So, that's rider weight included, but that's a lot of gear or kids or passengers that you can load up on this. The front tray is definitely a no passenger zone. It's rated for about 33 pounds with this larger tray. There's a smaller one that you can get that is going to decrease that weight a little bit more. But there's not many people that are hauling around a 30+ pound backpack. It's kind of a great spot to carry that. That rear rack, however, is capable of holding about 175 pounds. So 2 kids and maxi seats, by no means are you coming close to meeting that load capacity. Now, considering the Cargowagen Neo loaded up with all of that weight, how does it perform weighted down, loaded up, as well as unloaded? Now, first we'll kind of talk about the handling perspective of things. Unloaded is smooth, nimble, quick, fast, agile, and it tracks super straight down the road as well. If you were to even go to one hand because you need to grab something or reach back and help or get something shuffled out of your pocket while you're riding, if it is unstable or unbalanced in the frame itself, you know, the balance of the bike being too far back, too far forward, it can get choppy up front really fast. So this does not do that at all. Going super fast downhill, you know, 35 plus miles an hour and just cruising straight, holds that, tracks very well. Equally needing to go on tighter paths like this and turn quickly. It's very nimble and can turn very tight radius turns very smoothly and not make you feel like you're tumbling over side to side. Just general balance. I don't know how else to say it. I think it's the low center of gravity and the weight distribution as a whole makes this handle very well. Flipping the switch, throwing that 70 pounds on there. I had 20 up front with a 50-pound bag of chicken feed in the back. That's kind of loose a little bit so it wouldn't fall off, but allow some weight to shift side to side while I was riding. I ultimately didn't notice it at all. I maybe felt a little bit of the weight up front for the initial few pedal strokes, but quickly became familiar with where that weight was, and then it just disappeared, which is great. If you're looking at putting kids on the back and you need a spot to throw that day bag that you have on you, it's good to know that, again, it's low center of gravity, good weight distribution. It's not going to throw you around. You're going to feel confident and comfortable when you're pedaling around, which are very important things to feel, especially when you have kids in the back. Jumping into the performance power sides of things as we begin to talk about range and just overall power and speeds that you're getting on the Cargowagen Neo. I said it before, it feels light, zippy, and agile. I don't know how to say it any other way. It feels smooth, fast, and it kind of has the numbers to back that feeling as well, as far as speeds, average speeds, and general times, especially when comparing it to the rest of the bikes on test. On our 12-mile test loop, I saw a happy average speed of about 19.8 miles per hour unloaded in that full turbo mode. And conversely, while loaded, a very minor decrease in speed to about 18.5 miles per hour with a very minimal change in the average rider input. So myself pedaling without anything and with that extra 70 pounds, I didn't feel much power exerted differently out of myself, and maybe that was just me changing one gear, being able to hold those speeds. One place that I did find the Cargowagen Neo really shining and showing how well it does pedal naturally is kicking this over into eco mode, going to that steeper grade and just pedaling in the low granny gear that it has. Effortless. I wasn't reaching for a different gear and I wasn't reaching to change pedal assist modes. That was unloaded, but it was good to know just how it felt compared to some of the other bikes with different gearing, different size tires, different bike weights, different pedal assist modes. You know, Eco's different kind of on everything. This one felt really good. Being able to do that hill climb a few different times and go through the different modes, you know, every mode just made me be able to click up into a higher gear to just tackle that hill a little bit faster. And when I did have that extra gear on there, that extra 70 pounds, you know, if you are a person that favors riding an Eco, you just want to maximize your range, get the most out of it, and you're not in a huge rush and you don't want to or need to do 28 miles an hour the whole time, you have other pedal assist modes that you can use in those hill climb zones when you do have that weight to be able to get up those hills a little bit faster and not have to work as hard yourself. And that's one of the benefits of an electric bike. When it comes to general range expectations, I'll save you the speech. I've said it time and time again here on the channel. There's a lot of variables that go into affecting overall range. For that initial test loop, unloaded, full turbo, I did use about 60% battery, which is, you know, not an insignificant amount more battery than another bike with equally a Bosch system and the same battery, but it being class 1 versus the class 3 I see here, it did take more power, but I had 7 miles left after 12 miles of riding, putting me at 19-ish miles. Again, all estimations and calibrating and trying to figure out how far you really can get. But you know, if they're saying 20 to 50 or 25 to 50, I would say that's very close in that window of the expected range of about 19 to 21, 19 to 22 miles that you could get out of this. But I was pushing hard and trying to get this bike to just go as fast as you can for a sustained 12 miles. So it's definitely gonna take more out of that battery. Now we've covered the component spec, you know, the accessories that it comes with, overall performance, power, range, but what really sets this up for being a turnkey vehicle replacement is the whole package, all of it together. You know, it's got the fenders, it's got the lights, very important. It's got a quality drive unit from Bosch, really good power. So, you know, it's gonna be something that encourages you to ride it because you're not gassed every time that you go to ride, you know, a few miles to work straight uphill with, you know, a giant 30, 40 pound bag over your shoulders. You know, you have a place to put it and you have the power to get you and your gear there. So it's gonna encourage you to wanna ride. You know, if you do have kids and you want to start shuttling them to school, it's ready to go, ready to take those Yep Maxi seats. The extra accessories they offer, you know, with 2 different front trays, that rail to go around the backside there to help hold kids. That's really about all you need. You know, they have the pannier bags and other things that come along with, you know, accessories that you could choose to get with this bike, but really, this setup without the front rack and without that rail is turnkey, ready to go to start hauling kids around or be able to start using it commuting and have no worries about grabbing a bunch of groceries on the way home. All in all, the Cargowagen Neo is a flat out killer electric cargo bike, long tail electric cargo bike. There hasn't been 1 second when we're not smiling riding this bike. It is fast, it's nimble, it's very comfortable and smooth. You know, just the little details of that front fork and a suspension dropper. Despite having quote unquote skinny, narrow tires compared to the rest of the cargo bikes, it, I would say, is the smoothest bike to ride around, especially on those rougher roads that, you know, for us, chip seal potholes, crossing railroads, it's smooth all the way through. And it really encourages you to want to ride it further, which is what we're excited to do. We'll have this in for a long-term review, a couple projects in store for it. So we're really looking forward to putting plenty more miles, plenty more saddle time on this, and really testing the limits of what it is capable of doing and how it truly can replace a vehicle for most urban living. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those down below. And don't forget to stay tuned for the rest of the bikes in the individual reviews, as well as, of course, the roundup video where we talk about all the bikes, compare them, and see how they stack up against each other. Again, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.